Hello, welcome to Pilates with Angie, Pilates and Beyond. Today we are doing a session to work on the spine. And if we've got a flexible, mobile spine, everything is much easier for the body. And so it's really going to help with all the other things you do in your life and with all the other exercises and things that we're going to be doing in Pilates and other forms of exercise that I'll introduce. So it's partly the fitness world, partly the yoga world that we will introduce occasionally. But I fundamentally love to stick to classical Pilates. So that's the real core of everything that I do. But today, as I say, what we're going to look at is get our spines more flexible, supple, mobile, and so on. And that hopefully will help a lot of the aches and pains that you may get in your body, either because of maybe overdoing the gardening or spending too long in the car or sitting maybe in an awkward way or not the correct way when we're at the computer, anything that we might do for extended periods of time. And so it's amazing how quickly our bodies can respond when we give it what it needs. And so by doing a few minutes a day or 2 or 3 times a week where you're literally spending 10 to 15 minutes, a little bit more if possible, but getting your body back into balance and working it in the way it really needs to be worked, you can reclaim back anything that you've done in your day, in your week, in your lifestyle that is actually creating an imbalance, creating a little bit of discomfort and tightness and so on in the body. It can creep up quite quickly, and it can creep up in such a way that we don't even realize what's caused it in the first place. So it could be, for example, the fact that you've been sitting a certain way on your settee, a bit like I am now, with your feet curled up or slightly twisting round to look at the television or speak to your partner or your friends or anything in a certain way. So you're always slightly twisted. And you may do that on a daily basis. In the evening when you settle down or when you sit and have your cup of tea, you might have your feet slightly up to one side and you don't realize that you're sitting in an awkward way. You're not balanced. And this just becomes a habit. And so, of course, that has repercussions on the body. So the great thing about Pilates is that it really helps to get everything back in balance, specifically because of the very functional way the exercises are performed. So what we actually do. And it is an exercise form that is a mind-body thing. So it's about awareness. And the way in which we do something has to be precise, and we want to work from our center. So this is why I really wanted to go to the spine today. And so let's get going. So first of all, we're going to just warm up a little bit, some of the muscles, and also just ease out any tightness you might have. So lying down onto your back, and just to start with your legs bent in, just gently tip the pelvis backwards and forwards a few times. Now today we're just going to do about 5 exercises, and then I'm going to do another video that you can follow on with after this. So once you've just eased out the back here, you will know how your back's feeling by doing that. So if you have some tightness, some discomfort, just go gently. All right, now you're going to bring up one leg towards you. Just going to bring that knee in and hug it in. You can hold the shin here or hold behind the thigh. And if you need to take the leg out a little bit wider, that's okay. But try and keep it in front of your shoulder and not turning out too much, trying to keep it in line. Now, as you hold onto the leg, just slide the bottom leg away. Try and feel the back of the thigh, the back of the knee, the calf pressing into the floor. And then just slide the foot back in again. And then put that foot down, and we're switching over. So hold on to the other leg now, either holding in front of the shin or behind the thigh, whichever is easiest. Breathe in and out through your nose, preferably, for the moment. And then slide that bottom leg away, pressing it down into the mat. Trying to keep your shoulders nicely back and relaxed. And then again, just slide the foot back in. So we're not lifting the leg. We're not going to lift it. We're going to slide it back in. And then put that foot down. Good. All right, now we're going to bring up one leg, then the other. Just place your hands on your knees. And very gently just do a little tip. And think more about rocking your hips than sending the legs from side to side. You just rock a little bit each side. So you feel you're getting right into the back of the hip, back of the pelvis, just each side, just gently. And then come back to center with your hands on your knees still. You're just going to do some little circles. So you can keep the knees together, forward, out, round up towards the chin, through and out and round again. Again, they're not big circles. And you want to be aware of holding back your tummy muscles a little bit here. And then round the other way. So up the middle towards the chin, out, away from the chin. Just guiding the legs a little bit with the hands on the knees. Good. So now we're going to lower one leg, then the other. All right. So what I want to do now is start working through the hip lift or spine peel. I tend to call it spine peel. So it's as if you've got a big strip of double-sided sellotape stuck to your back and stuck to the floor. All right, so you're stuck your spine to the floor. We're going to start off by peeling up from the tailbone. So first of all, we're going to pull back the tummy muscles as we breathe out. We're going to add on the glutes, tucking under to pelvic tilt. Now it's like that end of the sellotape or the double-sided tape is going to be pulled up first. So we're peeling your back up off the mat here. Now as we do this, try not to let your shoulders get pulled forward. Try and keep your shoulder blades back on the mat here. And we want to get into a diagonal line from the knees through the hip to the shoulder. So we're not trying to push up too high, and we don't want to flare the rib cage out, because when you do that, you're going to work into the back, and we want to keep that in, and we're working more here and try not to go into the back. And then you're going to roll back down. So the challenge here is keeping the bottom tucked under. So it's literally the repetition of these movements and doing them often is what's going to help to get the body back in balance. So it's not about being in perfection right now. It's just getting this movement going. So let's do that through about 5 times. So from your neutral, so you've got the space behind your waist, breathe in through the nose. And as you exhale, pull back the thigh muscles towards the spine. Add the glutes on top, again without dragging the shoulders in. Now be aware of the lowest connection and contact you can feel with the mat. And then you start to peel up. Just check here that the thighs don't go out. So keep the thighs parallel. Be aware of keeping the big toe down on the floor. Inhale. And then breathing out. Almost try and keep your hips up as you roll down each vertebra one after the other. And it's getting the back of the waist in that can be a little bit challenging. So don't force it, just go with it. And hugging back again, breathing out. As you peel up, you're breathing in at the top. Breathing out, that closes in the rib cage in the front body, but not dragging in the shoulders. And as you do this through, hopefully it will start to ease up. Now, if you have a lot of pain in the lower back and you find you get to a certain place and it pinches, then just come down from there and just gradually ease into it. You'll find that over time, over the days that you practice it, it will improve. Breathe in at the top, breathe out to roll back down. Let's just do 2 more. So breathe in, you're in your neutral. Exhale, you're hugging back those abdominals as if you're sticking your toe muscles towards your spine, like sticking Velcro onto your spine. Tilt the pelvis, peeling up. Inhale at the top, exhale to roll back down. Last time. Inhale, exhale, hug back the abdominals. Tilt the pelvis, breathing out throughout this peeling up, keeping the big toes down. Inhale at the top and exhale to roll back down through the spine. All the way through that pelvic tilt, imprint to neutral. Okay, good. So now we're going to take our attention to the top half of the spine. And we're only going to be moving the head. And we're going to do an exercise called nod. All right, so from here, you're looking straight up. Now, if you have any sensation that your head is slightly tipping back, your chin is up too high, you'll need to put a book, or if you have a Pilates or yoga block, then put one of those under your head. It might be the inch one or the 2-inch one, but you don't want to be starting here because you can't nod your chin down successfully if your head is tipping back. So if you need to put something underneath your head, then grab that. So we're just going to practice keeping your mouth closed. You're going to breathe in and bring your chin down. And then up to where you started. So it's literally the very top vertebra. That's your top vertebra, and then the next one, you're literally tipping that one forwards away from the mat. So as you do that, and then release back to neutral. Again, try not to borrow from anywhere else. You may feel, and ideally this is what we want, a little stretch in the back of the neck, and you may feel this further down the back of the spine. You might feel it further down towards the shoulder blades. Now what can happen is that the ribs might pop up off the floor. So as you bring your chin down, you might find this will pop up. So you want to try and keep that down. So again, we're not going to borrow from the other end of the muscle. Just bring the chin down, inhale, and back to neutral. Just 2 more. Inhale, exhale. Just going to nod on the inhale and exhale to come back. All right, now we're going to add on one thing to this. So the palms are going to face down and you've got your arms parallel to the sides of the body. I'll just show you one through first and then you'll be able to try it yourself. So inhale, you're going to nod your chin, slide your ribcage forwards and just float the arms off the floor. So I'm just watching my shoulders are not up and then I've not tilted my pelvis. So I'm staying level here. Hands back down to the floor. Keep looking forwards to roll back down. Now, if you need to support your head, that's absolutely fine. Choose one hand to put behind your head rather than 2 and just leave the other arm by your side. So you'll inhale in exactly the same way. Just always check you're in your neutral pelvis. Inhale, nod. Exhale, slide the ribs forwards and then just bring the hands up level to the shoulder. Breathe in again, hand down to the floor, keep looking forward to roll back down. Okay, so let's repeat that through another 3 times. Inhale, nod. Exhale, slide the ribs and the hands forwards, keeping neutral. Float the hands up level with the hips and the shoulders here. Inhale, hands to the floor. Keep looking forward through the legs so the chin stays in as you roll down. And then you're back to your start position. Now you're going to feel quite a pull in the back of the neck, and you may feel quite a lot in the front of the neck because these muscles are having to work hard to stretch out all the way down the neck and further down the spine. All right, so just bear with this, just do it a few times, and then each day, as I say, it will improve. So let's do 2 more. Inhale, nod the chin. Exhale, slide the ribcage forwards, float the hands up. Inhale, hands to the floor, keep the chin in. Exhale to roll down. And again, inhale, nod the chin. Slide the hands, the ribs forwards, looking through the legs. Make sure the pubic bone is not popping up. You want to push it down towards the floor ahead of you. So you've got this space behind the back of the waist. Inhale, hands to the floor and roll down. Let's do 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Hands to the floor. Exhale. Roll down. And just to relax here, just let your head roll to the right. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Look up to the center and then turn to the left. And back again. Just repeat that again a few more times. Just roll the head over to the other side and back to center. Surely good. Okay, so now we're going to come up to sitting. So we're going to hold the arms around the legs. So this is to try and get a bit more stretch in the mid-back. We can do our cat stretches, but if we either hold behind the thigh here or in front of the shins, you want your feet about hip width. Now we're going to sit up as tall as we can. If you need to take your feet wider to be able to do that, that's fine. From here, we're going to start from the base of the spine, scooping in the tummy muscles, a bit like the spine peel. We're tucking the pelvis under. So as you breathe out, you're rolling back off your sit bones. You're going to look down to the floor between the legs. Try not to let your shoulders come up. Keep them down. And then you're going to tip up on top of the sit bones again and roll up through the spine. So breathe in. Now as you exhale, you're bringing the chin down, tucking under, rolling back off the sit bones, scooping the abs, and then inhaling to come back up to the top. So you're rebuilding vertebra by vertebra up to where you started. So you're pulling in the low, deep abdominals, you're breathing in through the nose. Exhale, tilt, looking down. Push into the back of the ribs here. Breathing in to come back up. Chin in, and then it lifts to that start position last of all. Inhale, nod the chin, tilting back off your sit bones. Reach into the mid-back area, across here, just below the shoulder blades, and then lengthening up 1 more time. And just be accepting of where you are, just be aware of it. And again, over time, this will improve. Breathing out, breathing in, coming up to the top. Good. Okay, so what we're going to do now is a little bit of a side bend. Now, you can either sit cross-legged here, and if this is not that comfortable, grab a couple of cushions, because having the hips higher makes it much easier. It frees up the hip area by having your hips higher. Or if you prefer, you can kneel. You can either kneel like this and do the side bend that way, or actually up here. Okay, so I'm going to do cross-leg position today. Feeling a little bit tight in my hips actually today, so sitting up nice and tall, pulling in the core. Now place your right hand on the knee to start with, and now just literally put it slightly behind that knee and place the hand on the floor. And now we're going to reach up with the left arm. And leaning on that right hand, you're going to bend the elbow. So you're keeping your left hip bone, sit bone I should say, down on the mat. And then you're coming back up and bring the arm down again. So breathing in, stretch up towards your fingertips. Exhale, take a nice stretch to the side. Just watch here, you're not going to let that top shoulder go forward. Keep one on top of the other and then come back up. Let's just do one more. Inhale, reach up and exhale. So this right hand is nicely stabilizing you. So you can keep that sit bone down on this side and then come back up. And again, stretching can feel a little uncomfortable because it's letting us know we need to stretch. So let's go to the other side. Now, if you're cross-legged, I like to switch the front leg over. Okay, so then we're equal. So got your left hand on the knee, just place it down on the floor behind the knee. And now we're going to reach up with the right arm and over to the left. Lean on that left hand. Keep the right sit bone down. Breathe in. And exhale, arm down. Twice more. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, over. Inhale, coming up. Arm down. And one more time. Over. Breathing in. And arm down. So we did a few little warm-ups to start with, just to move us around a little bit in the hips. And then we did some exercises, which I really hope you will get some improvement. If you just keep doing them each day or every other day, fit them in wherever you can. You can always stop the video, practice it a little bit more and see how you go. And you should find that your spine will start to ease up and it will help to reduce the discomfort, any aches and pains, and hopefully free you from any aches and pains that you may have in your back and your neck. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you next time. So it'll be part 2 of warming up the spine and getting it more mobile and supple and free. See you then. Bye.